The purpose of this presentation is to showcase our work, but this is just one of the use case which is essentially transforming how insights are being delivered. And this shelf monitoring platform is essentially using computer vision to do something that has been traditionally done by human intervention, right? It is a fully automated and scalable solution that generates insights for reducing countless man hours that are spent on regulatory compliance, positioning of products, counting of products, understanding stockouts. In fact, retailers spend millions of dollars just monitoring aisles, racks, equipments, checking availability of the products, right? And for the same reason, this process of collecting data, generating insights is actually a big challenge. It is manual, it is error prone. Because of the manual collection of data, there is a chances of error. It's non-real time. The data collected today essentially gets processed and then basically then gets used. It's costly, and it's time consuming. And because of all of these issues, right, uh, generally retailers and CPG companies kind of take a back seat and tend away from especially generating store insights, right? Opportunity that AI brings in is huge, right? AI is scalable. If you do it for 1,000 stores now, you can just scale it up for million stores. It's real time. You don't have to wait days for getting the insights and getting the data. It is secure. There is no human bias involved. It's fully automated, right? Basically, from collecting data to insight generation, it's the entire pipeline is fully automated. And last but not the least, it is cost effective, right? This kind of solution, that's where we developed AI driven shelf and product insights for the client. And let's get into details. So the client of ours was basically a CPG major, and we were trying to solve this problem for their snacks business, especially for non-organized retails, right? And the client wanted to essentially use a combination of images, videos, and AI essentially to deliver store insights. Now, what were the key problems that we were trying to solve? There are four key problems that we are trying to address for the client. One is identifying planogram compliance for a store, which is basically nothing but how your products are positioned. Are they positioned in the right manner? Are there few products which are not position, which is basically the missing products? Out of stock, are there some stocks which are not there as a part of your portfolio? And the rack positioning, which is nothing but is the assortment in the right shape, which is basically the suggested shape. And to solve all of these four critical needs, we analyzed more than 500 GB of data, which is nothing but a combination of more than 500,000 images in a year, 200K coded events, like basically which is the objects in the image, more than 5,000 outlets which are recorded and which are processed every week, right? And all of this not compromising in the quality of the output with more than 90% accuracy in the model. So let us just get a little bit details into how does it all work, right? And one of the main problems that we have seen people talking about is that, yeah, AI can basically do wonders, but it doesn't create business impact, right? But the idea is that only when you kind of design this complex problem in an easy to use, friendly process is when you get the real value of AI. And that's exactly what we did for the client, right? So the process was a very simple three step process, and everything complex happened in the background, right? So eventually how it used to happen is that the field person or the user will just take basically the video or the photo of your store, and the AI will basically then assess that if the right video or the right images have been captured, this data automatically gets uploaded to your cloud system. Once it gets uploaded to the cloud system, or the entire intelligence as the AI algorithm works in the backend, identifies the objects, does all these calculation, right? And then this calculation is basically again passed on to a dashboard, which is again used on the app, which was initially used to take the photo or the video, right? So essentially what you need is just that device, and the application, which will basically help you consume the data and also make sense of the data and and give you all the insights, right? Now let's try and understand a little more about how did it all happen, right? So once the video on the image gets captured, that is when the AI algorithm basically kicks in. And it basically identifies the objects of interest. So for example, the things that you see on the screen, all these boxes that are basically running with the video are trying to identify either a refrigerator or a cooler or a rack, right? And then it will basically carve out this particular refrigerator or a cooler or a rack from the video and the image, right? And it'll give you information along with the rack. It'll give you information in what time second they are, at what frames they are, and so on and so forth. Now, once this particular rack is carved out, right, that is when additional AI algorithms kick in, right? And for a particular rack, so for example, the things that you see on the screen, it identifies multiple things. The computer vision and the image processing algorithm identifies multiple things. It identifies what are the products. It identifies what is the positioning of the product. It identifies what is the size of the product. It counts the number of products. It counts the size of the full equipment of the rack, and then it combines or it compares it with the baseline. So for example, what you see here on the screen, the top rack, it doesn't have any products, but ideally there should have been 4 products of, say, Doritos nachos. And that is how it will get to know that since there are no products available, there could be possibility of either a stock out, right? The compliance is not maintained, which means that ideally there should have been 4 products, but then there are no products. And mapping then this information with a lot of transactional information, which is basically happening on the POS systems. It can also recommend that now that you have these 3 products, and once the consumers take these 3 products, they also generally take another product, right? And that is why a key recommendation kind of can come in terms of what is the products that should be part of this particular rack, right? And all of this together basically kind of makes a retailer and a CPG company here very informed about all the things that are happening and all the things that came out, right? So there were 4 big impacts that the client had. One is, since all these manual processes were basically replaced by automated image processing and insights, right? The client basically here was able to save around 200K of work hours, right? So things where the individual had to go take this up manually and then calculate, basically got replaced by a whole automated system. This solution essentially was ultra scalable. We started it with around 5,000 stores, and now it is scalable to around 180K stores, which with a 250,000 images processed weekly. The NPS, which is basically the survey of what products are available within a vicinity of a particular store, that has drastically improved, right? And because of insights around what are the products which are missing, what are the products that are not available, right? There has been a significant impact in terms of revenue, because now you have real-time insights in terms of what should be replenished and what should be basically what is the ideal assortment that should be there in a particular store. And that has created a baseline to use this for so many further use cases. If you look deep into the engine, it is a complex fusion of AI algorithms and technology. It uses state-of-the-art AI ML frameworks like YOLO, Inception, ResNet. It follows a standardized process of development, data augmentation, model development, model productionization, and which is essentially implemented on a combination of cutting-edge hardware and software with open source and custom packages, entirely cloud native, and using all the state-of-the-art technologies. So what next, right? As I talked about, right, though this is a solution which tries and addresses few of the use cases, but it has potential to basically transform how insights are delivered, right? It basically has the ability to work with different systems. It can identify new competitors, drive growth across your products. It can understand overall category and product landscape. It has the ability to perform unlimited store checks. It has ways to evaluate productivity of owned assets, competitor assets. So essentially, this has the ability to transform the way insights are delivered in store, right? And what we just showed you is just a curtain raiser of how this insights platform can be used to leverage and drive business decisions. Thank you.